RingGangRadio.com. Take over. Last mission. Final boss mode.
Showtime also had a card as well. Main evented, had a very intriguing unification at 122 with Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa. But before that, the story of that card was not particularly that particular fight. It was all three fights actually. Yeah, like the common theme of the whole card was, the common theme was like the Mexicans, they weren't playing, like, they came to fight. Like
I almost want to say it the way you said it before we went off. Oh, but y'all I'll say it. I'll take the heat.
Jake, go ahead.
Somebody told the Mexicans that they're not jobbers.
That's exactly what it is. Like, yeah, because
it's fucked up, but it's true.
Yeah, like when we previewed this, like we pretty much mentioned that the Aleem and then Gary Russell, the 118 version, they were facing perceivably lesser comp.
Yeah, it was decent opponents, but like winnable guys that they should kind of. It's a step above showcase. Because these are world class guys. They're no pushovers and no scrubs, but they're the guys that you supposed to look good and win clearly. Kind of like how MJ's fight last week was Velasquez was.
Yeah,
MJ won clearly, dominated. Yeah, he might have had a couple bad moments or but there was no doubt type shit.
Right.
This man, fucking Mexicans came out for blood, my nigga.
Yeah, they were probably like, Al probably told them, look, after a couple rounds, you guys gotta take a fall. Like we gotta build these fighters. And they were like, fuck this, fuck what this is. Like,
fuck that.
Like I'm on TV, man. What the fuck is you thinking? And my personal mistake was because I was telling my father about Gary Russell and Reese Aleem. I was telling especially Aleem, I was like, yeah, Aleem's the truth, Aleem is that dude,
Dad wanted to kick you out the house after that shit.
Yeah, and then pretty much, I think probably the loudest my dad was during the Aleem fight, like, because Aleem kept on, but we'll get into that one. But the Russell fight, one thing is for sure, like I've been singing the Russell's praises for a minute. Like I'm a fan of all of them. Like they're all cool people and whatnot. The 118 Gary Russ. Now, for whatever reason, his latest fights, he hasn't looked as great. Like Payano is rugged. He's tough. Like, I can understand the awkwardness. And then
Payano gives everybody a tough fight except for the monster.
Yeah. And then the Rodriguez fight was didn't have a chance to come off the ground because it ended because of a headbutt. So it was just like, okay, they lowered this comp a little bit, so it gave him a point that he could actually show out against, and then someone told Santiago was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm supposed to say he's supposed to hit me and I can't do nothing. Like, nah. Santiago put hands on Russell. Like, it wasn't even like one thing that Gary Russell was doing that was pissing me off because he kept on touching the ropes with his back. He kept on going to the ropes. That
was driving me insane. The amount of times he spent on them fucking ropes.
Yeah, and he was like I said, and he has good pop too. He was relying on his pop to see he could get Santiago to either sway Santiago from wading in or whatnot. But Santiago was not having that. Santiago took all them headshots. Like I think he only wobbled off one of them, and that was like near the end of the fight. But Russell was just like he was trying to punch in between the flurries, and he was catching work to the head, and then Russell got tired, and he kept on bullshitting a little bit. Like it was not the type of performance you kind of expect for someone with his reputation. Like,
nah, he didn't look good at all. Like if you told me he was a brother like related to the other two, I'd have been like, stop.
Yeah.
I don't see it because it's like angry fist. He boxes good. He has power. He's physically strong, tough, and heavy-handed. And he just beats the shit out of you. Turbo fist. He could box. He got defense, and he just he just combinations and boxes the shit out of you. But patient fist is just he's not assertive. He backs up too much. He gives ground. He has power. He has pop. He has the boxing ability, but he's lacking the ring generalship of the other two. Like
the generalship.
Yeah, it's severely lacking.
Tentative fist.
He doesn't look as fluid or just
he's very tentative fist.
But it's facts though, man. Like it was getting annoying watching because when he opened up, he was landing good shots that was rocking Santiago. Because Santiago was fighting like he was trying to avenge the honor of the Santiago. The
140 beat, right? The 140 left. the one Broner got the gift on, I think too, right?
Was that same time?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I guess you could call it a little gift. It was close, but yeah.
Yeah, but toward the end of the fight, though, it seemed like Santiago was outlanding him. Like, it was a lot of things that was going on. Like, Russell, and when Russell got tired, like, he just kept on bullshitting, and Santiago was just lighting him up with shots. I'm thinking to myself, God damn, geez, and I thought by the end of the fight, I thought Santiago won that. Like, I thought we were all three here upset, or at the most minimum, it was a draw.
Because a part of me's feeling like, man, I don't think they're gonna get an upset. Give it to Santiago, but let me see if they give it a draw and at least give him credit. No, they didn't do that.
Yeah, so there was one draw. One judge gave it a draw, and then the other two gave it a 96-94. So, like, the score wasn't outrageous per se.
Yeah, at least the score wasn't crazy, so I could be like, okay, like, yeah. Y'all kind of gave a little benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah, no, but yeah, one thing's for sure though. He's been active too, so one thing is for sure, PBC might have to be very careful how they move that guy. If Santiago is not Payano, he's not Rodriguez, they're former world champions. Santiago is just a regular journeyman.
Like maybe fringe contender level.
Yeah,
he's definitely skilled, but damn, like he made him look on fire last night.
Exactly. So it's just like, and it just seemed like the whole tone was set. And then Reese Salim, who I was thinking, okay, this is not gonna last too long, and he faced Baez. Baez, last time you saw him, he was on the Ring City card. And Aleem was actually landing on him, but the problem what was happening was Baez was timing him and started timing him early. With that,
he was buzzing him with that shit, and it was repeatedly like there'd be rounds where Baez would be losing, and he would just land 3 good showy right hands, and you're like, God damn! And it makes the whole round even closer. Now you're like
right.
And some of those rounds happen where Baez would really kind of ding him, or he would kind of control the round, and it's like you had to swing it to him.
Right, and then the only thing that Aleem was doing was just fighting harder, like just punching harder. And he punched so hard and so much that he doubled the punch output from Baez, but he was worn down by like 9 because Baez didn't go anywhere, And honestly, if this was a 12-round fight, there could have been a very, very good chance Aleem would have dropped. Because in the 10th round, Dew was on fumes. I don't think I've ever seen my dad scream so many times on the TV, like seeing Aleem get hit with the same silly shit over and over and over. Over
that left shoulder, like him and Teofimo, man, like they was meant for each other. Like, put your fucking left hand up, like my goodness, and you fighting on the front foot with your face over your shoulder, like a taller guy. Bro, like,
Yeah, it was just like, and the funny thing is too, is like, me and LB thought, dude was like, he was like pretty sound. he was definitely athletic, but we thought the dude was pretty sound, technically. But he has a shitload of flaws, like
I don't know what it is about Baez that it's like like made all this shit so glaring. Like this is the thing. It's like Aleem was to the level where I wouldn't think he would get exposed. I don't even like using that word because when I see you as world class, like you got to do some shit that kind of trumps some of your bad habits or minor technical flaws.
Right.
But like he was looking like exposed.
Yeah, like he looked mid. Like I was like, Jesus Christ. Like it's like now I know Aleem in the interview like alluded to maybe because the last time he fought was January, but I mean, come on though. But it was. I mean, because the person who he beat was a better fighter than Baez, you know. So,
yeah, exactly. That's a crazy shit.
Yeah,
you rusty and you come back. Shout outs to Rusty Taylor. but you rusty like, and you come back and you fight someone that's not even good as the last person you beat.
Right.
Like, come on, bro. Like you get the kinks out. Like the defense was like kind of like not there.
Yeah, you know, and Baez was just landing. If Baez had a little bit more power, like Baez only had like 7 knockouts in 24 fights, you know. But if Baez had a little bit more pop behind his shots or whatever, or if the fight was 12 rounds, that fight could have really got interesting. Because Aleem just entering the ring already lost his Mando spot to face Akhmadaliev. Because of the whole WBA taking away their interim titles, and Aleem had one of those. So
yeah, honestly, if these two fought again, like Baez, if he just makes a couple adjustments, man, he could do something.
Yeah, and that's how alarming it was. I'm like, damn, Aleem, like you're supposed to be the truth. Like, you know, like I'm over here telling my dad you're the truth, and you're over there, you putting the performance that had.
He went from the dark horse of the division, like the guy who could beat everybody, to like he could lose to everybody.
Exactly, like
because I don't know if he beats MJ now.
Yeah, no,
I don't think so. Like MJ,
I don't even think he beats
whacking
Fulton.
him.
Yeah, I don't even think he beats Fulton. We'll definitely get to Fulton, but yeah, Aleem disappointed me more. Like, but at least with Gary Russell, the 118 Gary Russell, like he had been shown a level for that sometimes. So it's just like more or less like, damn, okay, something's gonna happen. You know, something needs to change. But Aleem was just like he just went from there to Superman, and he was like, I guess he kind of felt that too, because in the interview he let me know it was like, yeah, you know, he felt some sort of way about that because people weren't fucking with his performance like that.
Yeah, I mean he did win clearly, but like the struggle was fucking real. I mean that's all there is to say about it. Just the struggle was real, but he did win, but damn.
Yeah, no,
it's like having a kid who brings home A's all the time, and then just one day they come home with a C+.
Yes.
You're like, what the fuck were you doing today?
Yeah. So does he get winner or now, or are y'all kind of soured on that for him to be up next against the winner of the main event of this stuff?
I'm not soured on it. I just more or less disappointed to see why the hell he. It was just such a drastic change. Like, you know, his previous performance, dude was looking like he was next.
Yeah.
And then now this one, all you want to do is say next.
The way next is said changed so hard.
Yeah.
Turn from next to the MTV Next show back in the
day. Yeah, no, but I mean, like I said, I'll give Aleem at least another chance to, you know, hopefully whoever his next fight is to really correct his flaws, or at least try to, and then try to have a better performance. But geez, like he was the one I was expecting a knockout to happen, and you know, I didn't get it, and you know, I was embarrassed because I told my dad that he was the truth, and you know, I made myself look like a liar, you know. So
I'm telling you, man, you can't do that shit. You hype up fighters to your dad, man.
Yeah,
that shit always go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I was be looking at you like, the fuck, this why I sent you to the gym to the dude, like.
Yeah, and
this is what you learned at the gym.
Yeah, and then after that, I told my dad too. I was like, okay, I had nothing to say about the main event other than, you know, like I said, this should they'll probably let the hands fly, and that's it. I was like, I'm not saying nothing more, nothing less. After that,
so yeah, let's get into the main event then. Like, that was a fight of the year.
Yeah, that was the fight of the year. See, unfortunately, it was the fight of the year that got outshined by another fight of the year that was just a little bit. I mean, that was just as.
I mean, you had
brutal.
more build up to it, so it was only natural.
Right, yeah. Showtime didn't do no type of build up for this shit.
Yeah.
Like so. But if you're a hardcore fan, you know what time it was for this.
Which is a shame, man, because it's like these are the type of fights that we want, but when we get them, it's like they fall flat because there's like no buzz.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's a damn fucking shame too. And the fight was just like, yeah, they weren't fucking around. It was sloppy at times, it was dirty at times, but I'll be damned if them niggas would not land in fades on each other. Like,
Yeah, they were. That was a great fight.
yeah, it was wills. Like it was like they were trying to break some wills in that fight. AOP, you saw this fight, so tell me what you thought about it.
Hands everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I
Hands everywhere they go.
These motherfuckers was. It was like, what's that Street Fighter character that throws all the E Honda, all them hands like E Honda.
Yeah.
I had to watch it. I had to watch the full thing this morning because I wasn't able, for obvious reasons, I wasn't able to watch it last night. But I heard all the buzz, and so I watched it myself, and I'm like, damn, this is a fucking fight. And it sure as hell was. It was what we thought it was going to be a fight, but I didn't expect it to be to go the way it did, because these guys were putting hands on each other, but it seemed like one person was kind of hurting the other one a little bit more than I thought he would. And that guy being Figueroa. Figueroa was hurting Fulton a lot. There were 3 or 4 times. There were 3 or 4 times where he hurt him. I'm like, damn, like I thought he was gonna put him out of there.
Yeah, Figueroa definitely had
Especially late.
Yeah, Figueroa definitely had Fulton moonwalking at some point.
Yeah, he had the better ring generalship. He had like he was the better fighter that last night. I thought Figueroa won, and I picked Fulton by KO, but I thought Figueroa won, like by a point. I had it 115-113 Figueroa. It was close. I could see a draw. I could see why people would say Fulton won, and I don't agree with 116-112. That's bullshit.
Hell no.
Yeah, yeah.
But I thought that if you said, okay, he won 115-113, I'm like, okay, you know what? I understand. I mean,
I would still disagree.
I would still.
But I would be like, okay.
And the funny thing is too is I that's why I predicted. I said, yeah, Fulton will win 116-112. If I said that's what I actually fucking said on the preview.
Yeah, I picked 150. I at the end of the fight, I thought it would. I scored it 115-113 for Figueroa.
Yeah, but I'll admit though, it definitely was not. I mean, although I predicted it and it happened, it definitely wasn't a 116-112 because in that fight, man, like, yeah, the one thing that was driving me crazy too was how easily Fulton was bullied to the ropes. Because what Figueroa has shown me, he's not the greatest mid-range fighter, especially if you put him in the center of the ring. Yeah, like Fulton did his best work. Fulton was lighting Figueroa up when he was in the center of the ring. But when Fulton wanted that, little catch of breath or whatever, and he would get to the ropes or he get to the get to the corner turnbuckles, man, he catch all types of work, and it was driving me fucking crazy. I was like, now I'm like, okay, maybe Figueroa's just too strong for him to keep him consistently in the middle of the ring. But then Figueroa
holding was driving me crazy.
Yeah, like there was some holding earlier. I was like, Figueroa was really trying to wrestle dude. And
but it was Fulton that was really initiating a lot of the holding. Like he couldn't do nothing when it's like when Figueroa would crowd his space. Like Fulton didn't know what to do with his hands. Instead of punching, he turned into damn.
He was kind of holding.
Ride.
He was kind of holding to stop Figure from trying to get his hold. He was trying to hold him to get Figure off him. Kind of felt like.
Yeah.
Like that left arm. He kept holding him with the left arm just to try to get Figure off. It worked. He got the win, I guess. Yeah,
but also what Fulton was doing was Fulton landed so many uppercuts on Figueroa. Like Figueroa was just, like Fulton was doing some Philly shit. Like Fulton was in there slipping and throwing body shots and throwing uppercuts on the inside. Like Fulton was getting his B-hop on, like on the inside. Like but the problem was
his ass the first 5 rounds.
He was.
But it's just like around when it's like after the 7th, it just kind of, and even some of the first half was close. But man, like Figgy went into overdrive.
Yeah, this is when you saw. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude was, it's like, he went like, he took it to another, like he was eating all types of shit, like going in there, but nothing was dissuading him. Like I was like, Jesus Christ, and like Fulton has decent power, like he was not being dissuaded for shit.
And yeah, because when Fulton landed, that shit was like super clean, like it was
crisp. You could hear it.
And one of Fulton's highest qualities is his stamina, but it felt like by the end of the fight, Figgy still could go a couple more rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like Figgy,
because that wrestling wears you out. Like
man, it does.
Like Fulton would have been better off taking the initiative and jabbing and.
But it's hard. It's
going forward.
It's so hard. It looked like it really be hard for somebody at that, because Fulton obviously was at a size disadvantage. It's like impossible basically for him to not get him on him.
Nah, it's not impossible. I've seen Devin Alexander do it plenty of times.
Yeah, but I don't know. And honestly, I mean, Stephen Fulton has been known to probably has top like marathon level conditioning. Like he has that type of stamina.
It's like he didn't use. It's like the shit King P was saying about Tio. Like he had the skills and everything to do, but he didn't utilize them correctly. Like Fulton should have never got into that type of fight.
I say
he should have been boxing and moving, pivoting. Like he was off. Like it's like he, even though he was outlanding and winning rounds, the rounds he won were clear. He still wasn't winning in a ring general shit where he was winning because he was landing cleaner punches.
Right.
But then it's like that stopped at a point because Figueroa picked it up, and then it was just about more so keep this nigga off of me type.
Yeah, pretty much. And First and 15 says, even though I had Fulton winning, might be biased, Figgy definitely didn't lose by those scores probably, but I had it within a point or draw. There definitely was times where I felt Figgy could have gotten him out of there. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah. See, I fucks with that, like, cause there definitely was times where I'm like, God damn, like, Fulton looked like he's a punch or two from being dropped or like finished. So that's the impression. So
it seemed like 4 times that he was really hurt. He was hurt out for the taking.
Yeah, but like I said, Fulton though, I mean, even when he was hurt, he still kept on firing back, man. Like this was like Fulton.
It just the punches they had to snap like earlier. Like it just the thing is, Figgy, his defense is so bad. He was making the punches look better even then when they were sparse because he would still catch them clean, and he just falls on top of them and just keeps grabbing, wrestling, throwing punches. It's like he was like damn, like Ruiz, Hatton. And Margarito all in one.
Facts.
But then Clint, but Fulton was doing a lot of holding, so I don't want to say it was a lot of Ruiz coming from Figueroa, but he was making it work for him though, and he was throwing a lot of punches. See, a lot of niggas, they get into the holding wrestling shit, like Costazu used to do it too, like really get into that grapple wrestle you shit. And they limit their punches. Figueroa, he's one of those guys who seems to be able to wrestle with you and still get his shots off, and they're hard shots.
Right.
Shit, a fight with him and damn Navarrete would be a fight of the year, honestly, if they were the same size.
Yeah. That shit would just be too crazy. Like someone definitely would go to the hospital after that.
Yeah, the fans might have a heart attack watching all that damn action.
Right.
Figueroa knocked Navarrete.
You think Figueroa could knock Navarrete out?
That would be. No, I'm saying. You were talking about. I stepped away for a second. You were talking about Figueroa and Navarrete. Like that fight would. That would be a wet dream for a lot of fucking fans.
Yeah, went there. Yeah, agreed. That's like one of the best fights you could make in boxing as far as like a fight of the year contender. Like you might say it already won.
Right.
Yeah.
But but like I said, if you gave it to Fulton, cool. If you gave it to Figueroa, cool. If it was a draw, cool. But yeah, 160-112 was not how it's supposed to end. And Fulton was copping pleas too. Fulton was like, yeah, we can do this, but Fulton wasn't sounding as convincing as he was before. Like, yeah, we can do a rematch. But then Brandon Figueroa already put it out there that this was his last 122 fight, and he wanted to go to 126. So Fulton's not gonna go to no damn 126. Fulton would get knocked out fighting to do that 126.
At featherweight, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And it seemed like Fulton could make 126. Like I don't think he's a small, like he's a solid dude, but the way he reacted to Figueroa punches at 122, like he would, And the way he was begging for Figueroa to acknowledge that it was a close fight, like it was a draw.
So let me ask you this. Do you feel like this is a case of where even though you won, your stock kind of dropped a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the case for Fulton?
Yeah.
Definitely the case for Fulton.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in my opinion, why. Because I feel like both the winner of this fight to me was going to be knocking on pound for pound top 10 for me doors. And I mean, the way Fulton, I mean, he still won the fight and he still took good accountability of himself, but I can't necessarily justify putting him there based off that performance.
Yeah. Let me tell you how high people have been on Fulton, and I'm a big believer in Fulton. That's why I was a little disappointed, with the whole thing last night, even though it was a very good fight. Let me tell you how high other people were on Fulton that I didn't even go this far, and I'm that high on Fulton. There were people that said if Monster came up to 122 and fought Fulton, that Fulton would beat him. Even I was like, yo, well, let's pump the brakes on that a little bit. And so that's high praise on Fulton. Right. And after the performance last night, that's maybe we overvalued Fulton a little bit.
But I think people also kind of undersold Figueroa because I mean I'm the only one, even though I picked Fulton to even stop him, but I acknowledge that Figgy's a good fighter. Like he gets hit a lot, but he has a lot of shit that he makes work for him, and he's just a tough outing. Like
no, I gave Figgy his props too because he's actually legit and he's a very good fighter, unlike the other Figueroa. But we won't go there.
I don't think any coach
it's just in this matchup. A lot of times, we favor the boxer in all these volume swarmer matchups. A lot of times. And I think we kind of undersold, intensity and volume, and we oversold skill and technique.
That's understood.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there.
Yeah, I mean, we do it sometimes because, and sometimes, it's the other way because I'm a victim of this with the Ruben Vega fight in Navarrete.
Oh yeah,
y'all niggas picked Navarrete, but I'm like, I was on the skills, like, cause I'm looking at it like, damn, if you fight him this way, there's no way he could lose.
Oh, Villa.
My bad, apologies. And next thing you know, Villa's getting dropped and on some like, oh shit, hold on, chill. Like, I don't wanna like he's crazy. You see these fucking uppercuts he's throwing, like Tiger, like nah, chill. And honestly, my gut call was to pick Figgy, but Fulton looks even better than Villa, and he really impressed me against Leo. And I was high on Leo. Leo could box. Yeah. Leo's good.
And I mean, to me, the difference to those two, to me, is Fulton has a much better temperament than fucking Villa.
Yes, he does.
For sure.
And he's more proven, and he, you know what I'm saying. But remember, this was before Fulton even got that win over Leo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but watching that fight,
and that kind of sold me, like, right there. And to me, honestly, Figgy was coming into it with a bigger win. But even then, Fulton fought a good opponent, and he looked great.
And that's the thing about Fulton, because Fulton might actually, took some years off Leo's career. That's the thing, because Leo hadn't looked
that
good.
Was a beating.
Yeah,
he gave Leo a pure ass whooping. Like he sent him to the hospital type ass whooping. Like Leo hasn't looked good since, that fight. So that's
hold on. First and 15 said Fulton on Twitter copping pleased about it right now. When of y'all niggas pull up Twitter, like what he said?
me see what's going on with Cool Boy Steph.
I got it. He said, rewatching the fight. Y'all tripping if y'all thought I lost. Go rewatch the fight on Showtime. I landed more clean shots and all y'all tripping and Brandon tripping. And like I said, we can run that back for a part 2. # unified.
Nigga, like, nah, son, dude put hands on you. Like, yeah, you landed clean punches, but the dude threw like 1,000 punches. He threw like 300 more than you and landed like 40 something more than you.
And it was mostly he fought his fight. Figgy found the way, to
and he fought his fight.
Yo, what are the chances of me seeing these tweets back to back? First is the Steph, the Fulton tweets, and now I'm seeing Caleb Truax just rewatched Lopez Cambosos Jr. Great fight of the year candidate. Rescored it with the volume off. 10-2 Lopez.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
He's obviously joking.
Who was that, Pete? Who was that?
What?
Caleb Truax.
Oh,
Caleb Truax. He has to be joking. Like,
yeah, he got to be trolling with that.
Also, the first round was a definite 10-9 for Cambosos. Yeah, he's trolling. He's definitely trolling.
So some Teofimo fan is like losing his mind right now.
Facts.
Oh man, fucking yeah. For Fulton, nah, man. Like you know that fight was close. You know he put hands on you.
Right, and like I said, Fulton, like, I mean, personally, I would love to see it too, and because I don't know if Fulton is ready for undisputed unification just yet.
Nah, him and they gotta run that back and put Aleem as the co-main, and I just need to press the reset button on this one.
Right.
The only shit that ended up right was the fights being entertaining, but none of these niggas looked as good as they was advertised.
Yep, the day that the Mexican contingent took over. Of
those three, who do you think really has to go really back to the drawing board? I'm sure it's either Aleem or Russell.
Russell's the one that actually thought.
Aleem at least won his fight.
Yeah, like he didn't look good, but he did clearly win. I didn't think Russell won his fight for anything. Yeah.
Russell lucky if Russell would have got a draw, like he would have been lucky.
Right. So yeah.
But I mean, it's like, wait, didn't they dial it back with him anyways? So like, that's kind of not a good.
He kind of thought that the whole headbutt from last time was in his mind, so that could have threw off his performance too.
Yeah. So yeah, it just wasn't a good look. I mean, all of them, like everyone was the ones that Cliffords they won, but it just wasn't a good look for them. In their own various ways. But Showtime though,
do a rematch of that whole card.
Facts. But
that'd be like the first time ever you had a whole fucking card just get rematched.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever said that ever.
And honestly, I would watch it. I would watch that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, but yeah, Showtime though delivered though. It was just a shame though. It was kind of outshined by Lopez Cambosos. I mean, for good reason it was. I
don't think as a card it was an outshine, but as a main event versus main event, it got outshined a little bit.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Sounds like a future poll.
Yeah, it does.
Dun dun dun.
Like everyone knows, anyone who's watching knows that Fulton Figueroa was a fight of the year, but it's just not trending. Like I don't see the clips for it like I see with for Lopez Cambosos. The clips are everywhere. Like everyone.
Remember, it went on like right after it finished, and everybody got to really marinate with Lopez and settle in that it's like, damn, you smashing a dime piece and then another one walk in the room right afterwards. Like, that's what it was. Like, you eat like a good steak meal, then someone comes in, hey man, I got this lobster here. Like, really? Like, okay, like, what you mad for? Nigga, it's free lobster. But it was a great, honestly, the best night of boxing all year, easily.
Yeah, like I had a mean boxing high. Like I had a. Well, I mean, I rewatched Lopez Cabosas again before I went to, but after the Showtime card was over.
Same here, man.
Let's see if next week could top this week.
Yeah, and that's a
You know it's bad when a nigga say, you know what, I'll chill on Power. I could watch a real fight over again.
Yeah, and truthfully, the fights, because I was like so much of a boxing, I forgot about Power.
Yo, low key, honestly, dog. I looked online. I'm like, oh shit, this shit actually dropped. Like, Like, okay, all right. See what's good with that.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Let me watch this fight again, and I'm gonna go to sleep. And then in the morning,
that's Power though. Like, I think I would have remembered BMF.
Right.
Like, we had some great fights, and the motherfucker be like, all right, hold on, BMF.
Yeah.
Canelo Plant ended like BMF.
But yeah, no, it was a great fucking card, a great fucking weekend of fights or whatever. We needed it. November is definitely, it's definitely going out with a bang. And like I said, hopefully, like I said, as P alluded to,